Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
There's a very specific kind of silence that settles over a fan base just before anxiety kicks in. Not the calm kind, not the peaceful kind, but that uneasy pause where you know something inevitable has started moving, and you're powerless to stop it. That silence arrived the moment Bo Bichette began meeting with teams that were not the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes, it was always going to happen. Yes, it's his right. And yes, we all told ourselves to be mature about it. But maturity doesn't stop your stomach dropping when you hear which team he sat down with first. Welcome back to the Blue Jays Report, because today's conversation is layered, emotional, and quietly pivotal. This isn't just about Bo Bichette's free agency tour. It's about rivals circling, leverage shifting, uncomfortable truth surfacing, and a front office that suddenly finds itself with both incredible power and impossible decisions. Before we get into the heart of it, do me a favor and hit that like button, share this with a fellow Jays fan who's nervously refreshing their feed, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report so you don't miss a single twist in what is shaping up to be a defining off-season. So let's not dance around it. The team Bo Bichette met with is exactly the team you feared. The Boston Red Sox. Of course it was. The reports had been bubbling for days, almost daring us to ignore them, until Ari Alexander dropped the line that made a section of Blue Jays fandom audibly groan. Bo Bichette and the Red Sox held a Zoom meeting. It went well. Bichette came away impressed. And just like that, the rivalry, which never really sleeps, stretched, smiled, and reminded Toronto it's still very much alive. Now, let's apply a bit of logic before panic sets in. If you're Bo Bichette and you're entering free agency for the first time, you don't leave meetings saying they were dreadful. You don't burn bridges before you know which one you'll need to cross. Saying a meeting went well is standard practice. It's diplomacy. It's leverage. It's the unspoken rule of the business. So no, those comments alone don't mean he's packing his bags for Fenway just yet. But here's the uncomfortable part. If Bo Bichette genuinely was impressed, it makes perfect sense. The Red Sox, for all their recent inconsistency, remain one of baseball's most magnetic organizations. The history breathes through the walls at Fenway Park. The fan base is ferocious. The spotlight is relentless. And more importantly, they're quietly assembling something serious on the mound. Sonny Gray has arrived. Garrett Crochet is already there. Brian Bello has taken steps forward. You can squint and see a rotation forming that's one catalyst away from being truly dangerous. And Bo Bichette looks like he was built in a lab to hit at Fenway Park. Picture it for a second. That cavernous right field where outfielders retreat like they're backing away from a storm. The green monster looming on the left, hungry for line drives and high flies alike. Bichette's entire offensive identity fits this place like a tailored suit. He sprays the ball the other way. He racks up singles and doubles. He turns hard contact into relentless pressure. Fenway doesn't just suit him, it rewards him. The numbers tell a story too. In his career at Fenway Park, Bichette has hit .329 across 35 games. 47 hits. That's not coincidence. That's comfort. That's familiarity. From Boston's perspective, the pitch almost makes itself. Come here. Hit forever, be the spark that lifts a young core into relevance. It's seductive, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest. There is, of course, a positional wrinkle. Trevor Story exists. Shortstop is not open. But that may no longer be the sticking point it once was. Around the league, Bo Bichette is not being viewed as a locked-in shortstop in this market. Second base is on the table. Rafael Devers has already proven positional flexibility isn't taboo in Boston. The pieces could be moved. The board could be reshaped. This isn't an obstacle, it's a puzzle. So should Blue Jays fans be worried? The honest answer is both yes and no. This is how free agency works. Meetings happen. Rivals lurk. Scenarios multiply. But the bigger picture matters. Toronto is not negotiating from desperation anymore. They've already committed enormous money to Dylan Cease. They are clearly prioritizing Kyle Tucker as a potential franchise-altering addition. And if that domino falls, the financial and roster reality shifts dramatically. If the Blue Jays land Tucker, it becomes very difficult to imagine them also bringing Bo Bichette back on a mega deal. Not impossible, but unlikely. And if that's the path this organization chooses, it has to be said plainly. That's okay. Painful, yes. Emotional, absolutely. But not organizational failure. Toronto tried to extend Bichette years ago. The timing didn't align. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stayed. The team evolved. And contingency plans were made. If Tucker doesn't arrive, the door for Bichette remains open. But if Tucker does, the Blue Jays pivot. And that pivot might involve another fascinating name quietly floating through the market. Ketel Marte. Here's where things get complicated. The Red Sox are also sniffing around Marte. So are the Blue Jays. Everyone wants elite infield talent without committing $500 million. Marte is coming off back-to-back MVP caliber seasons. He's under team control for years. His contract is friendly. From Arizona's perspective, this is premium inventory. They won't give him away. Ben Nicholson-Smith poured a bit of cold water on the idea by suggesting the price would be substantial, and it would begin with young pitching. And then he said the name that made a lot of people sit back in their chairs. Trey Savage. Suddenly, this isn't theoretical anymore. This is real. Giving up Savage would hurt. Not just because of his upside, but because this entire off-season has been about extending the pitching window, not shortening it. Savage proved himself under the brightest lights. He's not just a prospect anymore. He's a pillar in waiting. Trading him for Marte makes sense on paper. It makes sense for the next 2 or 3 years. But it also chips away at the future this front office has been so careful to protect. This is where opinions will split sharply, and rightly so. Some will say elite talent costs elite assets. Others will say don't rob tomorrow to decorate today. There's no easy answer, and that's exactly why these decisions define regimes. And then, just when you think the conversation couldn't get more layered, José Berríos enters the chat. This one caught a lot of people off guard. Reports surfaced that Berríos was unhappy about being removed from the rotation late in the season and chose to be away from the team during the postseason and World Series. Ross Atkins confirmed it was his decision. No drama. No accusation. Just distance. On a human level, it's understandable. Berríos is a machine. 32 starts every year. Reliable. Durable. Proud. Hitting the injured list late in the season for the first time in his career, then returning only to pitch in the bullpen, must have cut deeply. Athletes define themselves by routine. Disrupt that, and emotions spill over. But from a team perspective, it doesn't sit comfortably. This was one of the most special runs in franchise history. And one of your longest tenured pitchers wasn't there. Not in uniform. Not in the dugout. Not sharing it. It's his right, absolutely. But it still leaves a mark. Now look at the rotation as it stands. Kevin Gausman. Dylan Cease. Shane Bieber. Trey Savage. Cody Ponce. There simply aren't 32 starts available for everyone. Even a 6-man rotation doesn't solve it cleanly. Someone moves. Someone adapts. And right now, the odd man out, at least on paper, is Berríos. That raises a question Toronto can no longer avoid. Does it make sense to explore a trade? Plenty of teams would love José Berríos. He has value. He has reliability. And Toronto has depth. This is a luxury problem, but it's still a problem that demands action. This off-season isn't just about stars arriving. It's about identity. About who stays, who goes, and what the Blue Jays want to be for the next 5 years. The decisions made now will echo loudly. So yes, Bo Bichette meeting with Boston stings. José Berríos stepping away raises eyebrows. Ketel Marte's price tag causes hesitation. But step back for a moment and recognize the bigger picture. These are the problems of a serious franchise. A contender. A team that no longer fears the market, but shapes it. If you've made it this far, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is far from over, and every opinion matters right now. And as always, go Jays go.